So I'll touch on three topics here: the increasing cyber security threats, who's at risk, and what can you do about it. So Claire has touched on this about the increasing cyber security incidents. Everything Claire talked about, it's easy to sort of go, well, it'll never happen to me, but we're only halfway through the year. The financial year, 94,000 incidents reported at this point in time. These are the ones that are reported. It's probably just as many that haven't been reported, and that many again that nobody knows even happened. It's a 23% increase on the previous year, and we expect that's going to continue exponentially. What are they targeting? In the main, credentials and identity. Credentials are the utopia for hackers because it allows them to get into a system and usurp identity, and that means you can attack online banking and financial transfers, and you can get access to business data. And business data today is very valuable. It's not just personal information around, say employees, for example, and how that can be utilised, but the actual data around the way you run your business. How are they doing it? The main ones, and I'm sure everyone in this room has experience with this, is email and phishing attacks. They happen daily. At Scope, we have continuous training with our staff around email risk and phishing methods. They do training, and we also have test phishing sent and emails sent to them on a regular basis to see if they actually take the bait. If they do take the bait, they get flagged and it's further training. So this is how seriously we take it. We're the custodians of data for a huge amount of our customers. A lot of our customers are very large companies that are listed on the stock exchange. We take very, very seriously the responsibility of looking after their data. So it's very important that our staff know that the risks and the methods that can be used to try to access that data. The other method is segregation of duty. We see this as a major risk, particularly in ERP around the purchasing function. So if you have a purchasing officer that can raise a purchase requisition, a purchase order, set up a creditor's account, make a purchase, organise a payment, authorise the payment. One person doing that, right, has the ability to effectively, run their own business out of your business. We've seen this with a number of customers over the course of some years, and we need to point this out that segregation of duty, right, is something you should take very seriously, because if an account that has a wide-ranging security roles across your ERP is compromised, then your business financially and reputationally could be highly at risk. So we definitely recommend that that's something you should have some focus on. And lastly, the other method is around data transfer. So ODBC has been in use now for many, many years. Majority of people in the room here would use it in some way, shape or form around, say, Excel spreadsheets. The approach we're taking to this now is ODBC is not only old technology, it's slow, it's cumbersome, it's also a risk factor. It can be encrypted, but most people don't. Anyone in the room here using the spreadsheets doesn't encrypt their data for ODBC. So the data is effectively in clear text form, right? If it's intercepted, it can be compromised. Our approach in these times is we don't like ODBC at all. So new customers that come to our cloud platform, we say no ODBC. You need different ways of accessing your data. We'll often replicate data out of Pronto to some other system, and there's a separate security mechanism around that platform to access the data, and you can use tools like Power BI or Cognos or wherever it may be to access the data that way. So who's at risk? You all are. Everyone in this room that works in ERP or IT is at risk. Claire touched on the penalties that are now coming through from the federal government, 50 million for companies, individuals as well now, up to 2.5, and the accountability level is increasing all the time. So it used to be, the company was the one responsible. Now we're at board, CEO, all the C levels, and it's coming down into general management, middle management now as well. If you're in a position where you should have known that you would expect to take necessary steps to protect privacy data, and you haven't, then you are going to be exposed. And you'll see the breadth of the exposure is going to increase as well. The ability for you to be sued, for example, we think is going to happen in the not too distant future, and it will come through legislation. So what can you do about it? So we can help. Most of the people that we provide ERP to are in the mining business. Mining is their bread and butter. They're not really IT people. They generally rely on an IT team or a third-party IT provider to come in and do what's necessary to secure their systems. The approach we're taking with our customers, and we're seeing a lot of success, is we're saying, hey, you've got all this risk, we can take the risk away, right? Our business, the business we're in, is not just ERP, it's in delivering the ERP, right, in a secure fashion. So we're encouraging people to come into our cloud all the time. A lot of our customers already use cloud in some way, shape or form. They might be on Microsoft Azure or another cloud provider. But effectively, our view of that is it's still what we call on-premise, right? If it's outside of our cloud, we deem it as on-premises and a potential risk to our customer. So if it comes into our cloud, we've got a whole string of measures that we can provide, and I'll just touch on some of them here. We don't let, and this is a contentious one, because people have been used to doing this for a very long time, and that's accessing Pronto outside the rules of the application, right? I need a result to fix a problem in my business process. Pronto doesn't do it natively, so what I'll do is I'll adjust the data directly in the database outside the rules of Pronto. The problem with that is no auditing, and it's not governed by the rules of the front end of the application. So the security roles that are in place for segregation of duty example are all bypassed. So on our platform, we stop all that. We don't allow people, right, to manipulate data directly at the back end. Everything has to be done through the business rules of Pronto itself. And you as an administrator can control that access, who gets access to what and how they do it. If you need specific mechanisms within Pronto that maybe aren't native out of the box, we can customise Pronto on your behalf, or if you've got your own developers, you can do that as well. But on our platform, no, we don't allow that to happen. We've recently adopted ISO 27001, which is a security framework, and this came from, I guess, two pieces of pressure. Us as a cloud provider, because that's what we are, not just ERP, have a responsibility to ensure that we deliver those services in a very secure fashion, in a controlled fashion. So 27001 is a framework that allows us to do that. The other driver was coming from your auditors. Right? They were constantly started chasing about 5 years ago it started. We want to know all the information about how you're running a cloud platform, because we don't trust you guys that you're doing the right thing. So 27001 allows us to show those auditors, here's what we've done, these are all the checks and balances we've got in place, here's the processes we run in our business to ensure that the data is secure, and here's the processes we have when things go wrong, what we do about it. The second one, SOC 2, this has been becoming more and more widely adopted in the last couple of years. It's an American CPA standard. We are in the final stages of our final audit for SOC 2 now, so we expect to achieve SOC 2 compliance in the next week or so, and that gives us it's a very good mechanism now for us to provide to your auditors. They just say, we need some assurance, and we just go, there's the report, right? We've had it audited, everything's been ticked off, everything you want to ask us about, password complexity and all that, it's all been audited by our external auditors, and they can take that, and that's a tick in the box for your guys. We've got segregation of duty templates. So I mentioned segregation of duty. So we've got a lot of experience in this area. We can provide templates for you that are best practice to ensure that you've got good security around that. And we've got a whole plethora of other security measures that we have in our cloud around network security, firewall. Ton of systems that are scanning and analysing access to our platform all the time. We get reports going to individuals in my team in infrastructure, but also at management level. They get summary reports about what's happening in the network, and we've got a risk committee that meets monthly to look at all the any incidents or any improvements that we could adopt. We're also pursuing single sign-on and a password reset capability. This would be music to most people's ears that use Pronto. There's not been an ability for an end user to reset their password. It still isn't natively out of Pronto. We've built a password reset utility that'll allow your end users to reset their own password from the web user interface. It'll be a click, and there's a process they go through to do that. We're also testing single sign-on capability at the moment. This has been something that's long been a hole in the Pronto application, in my opinion, but we're finally getting there. Pronto have finally come to the party. So what this will allow you to do is you'll have your Windows login that you'd use normally within your organisation. Once you've done that and authenticated there, you won't need to re-authenticate into Pronto. It'll be done seamlessly in the background, and you'll be able to sign in that way. I've already spoken about AWC, so I won't touch on that again. And disaster recovery. This is a huge part of what we do in our cloud platform. So everything in our cloud platform, we eliminate single points of failure. But we don't rely on that. If we lost our production data centre for some reason, we can switch over to a secondary data centre, and the intent of the technology we've got in place is there's zero data loss. We're replicating all your data. If you're on our cloud, all your data is replicated in real time to a secondary location that we can cut over to in the event of an issue. I'll talk a little bit now about the future roadmap, because this is important in terms of the security around Pronto itself. There's going to be a change in the application architecture for Pronto over the next couple of years. At the moment, Pronto is what I describe as a monolithic application. What that means is everything is on one server. It's the application, the database, the web services, and anything else that makes up the application solution is pretty much on one server. It makes it very difficult and expensive to perform upgrades using that application architecture. It also makes it difficult when there's a problem around security to actually address the issue without having downtime or impact to your business. What Pronto are doing is they're moving to what's called a continuous delivery model. That means they want to be able to constantly be developing and applying the software they develop in a continuous basis, rather than waiting for a huge major upgrade. There will be lots of little updates that happen over the course of a year. There will still be major updates around the application, but for small components, for reporting, help, security updates and the like, we want to be more agile. So the technology we're now adopting, right, is moving away from, I don't want to get too technical about it, but what I call virtual machines, to a process called containerization. So this is going to make it easier, right, to do Pronto upgrades, and they're going to be a lot cheaper as well. The issue for customers that want to stay on premises is unless you're going to build your own container platform, it's going to be difficult for you to adopt the same architecture. Pronto won't stop you doing that. You'll still be able to run Pronto the way you want it, but you won't have exposure or access to that continuous delivery model. So we're encouraging people to come onto the cloud now, right, and to be in a position for when this technology is rolled out, that you'll be able to adopt it. And having that ability to update Pronto in terms of its security issues through containerization is very fast. So we can adopt the change, we can apply the change to a whole mass of customers simultaneously. If there's a problem, we can roll it back very quickly too. So we're removing the risk, right, from the on-premises configuration, and also removing the risk within our own platform, because at the moment we're running the old monolithic way, and we need to move from that as well. All right, so just in summary, we'd highly encourage you to talk to our people, our account managers, the primary consultants around what you can get from coming to Scope on our cloud platform. I won't read all these out, you can see them on the screen, but I think the attractive one is it takes your security issues away from you on-prem, Upgrades are a big thing because we're hearing this from our client base all the time. You need to bring the price of your upgrades down. And the upgrades are expensive because the way we approach it is to minimise the risk. We don't want you having downtime. We don't want it to, when we turn the key on an upgrade, we want it to work. But that comes with a whole series of processes and procedures to make sure it's successful. Adopting this continuous delivery model will minimise that to a big degree. So we're all about removing the risk for you. We bring the risk to us, but we're good at managing that risk. I've talked about the frameworks we've got around governance and security, I think we can do it well. So, as I said, highly encourage you to talk to our people about what we can do. So that's it from me. Thank you.